This is going to be another test video. I have my microphone closer to my mouth so that the audio should be better. And I've queued up the prompts that I've been using, and I've also queued up the EEK itself over here off to the right side of my main screen, and I've queued up the Arduino IDE, which is running one of the examples. And I've also queued up the Cursor IDE. Now, Cursor is meant to kind of interact with the Cursor.ai platform, which has its own models and its own way of doing things. But it turns out this is close enough to Visual Studio Code that it's a nice way of getting into this notion of AI assistance without necessarily needing to have a big membership bought into with the Cursor.ai platform. So I am using Claude Code, and so if I do a Claude-resume, then I can take up where I left off. And I want to do the one that I was just looking at, which is the one highlighted in blue. So I'm just going to hit return. And then what's nice about this is that the history you just had with respect to getting examples generated, that history is there for you to kind of review. So this goes back to the very beginning when I didn't have anything written here other than the two facts files, eekfacts.json, which kind of gives information about the LEDs and about the switches, and then a summary of the EEK, including what the acronym means, and then some interpretation of what physical gesture should mean. And then at the very bottom of this text file, I say that I want the new Arduino examples to be in their own folder. And then I also want the examples that are generated to have a little bit of documentation or commenting along with them. Recently, Claude seemed to do that automatically, but it's not so more recently, it's not doing that automatically anymore. So I added those clauses in there. So I'm going to go through this in another video, which is the real one, but this is kind of just a test. And so what I want to do now is just kind of show the fact that we have the EEK, and there it is, and it's running one of these examples. And the examples it's running is the one that's inside of the IDE, switch LED display. And this is a completely generated example. So, knowing the properties of the EEK, I ask for that example to be produced, and in fact, I can find the prompt I used, going back to Claude, going back to where I'm interacting with Claude here. I can, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be down here. I want to, can you provide an example, provide an example sketch? And then the one that I'm actually looking at now is this one that when I press an EEK switch, I want it to light a different EEK LED as long as the switch on the EEK board is pressed. And then I'd like the name of the switch being, the name or the location of the switch on the EEK PCB, that to be printed to the EEK OLED display. So that was generated example, and then I've loaded it into the Arduino IDE. I've already compiled it there for the EEK. The EEK is using the Adafruit Feather. And then now if I go to the EEK display here, I can then press these switches and then the corresponding LED lights. So bottom right switch lights the yellow LED. The bottom left switch lights the lower green LED. The middle right switch lights the upper green LED. The middle left switch lights the lower red LED. The top right lights the red LED, top red LED, and then the other switch, the top left switch, lights the blue LED. So again, this was an example that is not in my course. It's not in the book exactly in this way anyway. And this was a generated example using Claude Code. And let's just see if this comes out okay, and I'm happy with the video quality.